in the grim darkness of the far future, there exist engines of war so colossal, so devastating, that entire civilizations crumble at their approach. These are the Titans, the god machines of the Adeptus Mechanicus, walking avatars of destruction that embody the terrible union of machine and divinity. Standing taller than the greatest hive spires, armed with weapons that can level cities in minutes, and crewed by warriors whose minds meld with the machine spirit itself, Titans are not just weapons. They're living gods of war, each one a sacred relic of the dark age of technology, maintained and revered by the tech priests of Mars for over 10,000 years. To witness a Titan legion on the march is to see the end of worlds. The ground trembles beneath their tread. The air screams as their void shields flare against incoming fire. Cities burn in their wake. Armies are obliterated. Mountains are leveled. And through it all, the god machines stride forward, inexorable, unstoppable, eternal. The true origins of Titan technology are lost to the mists of the dark age of technology, that golden era of human achievement that preceded the age of strife. What is known, pieced together from fragmentary records and sacred technical documentation, paints a picture of weapons designed for wars beyond comprehension. Standard template construct systems that seeded humanity's colonies across the galaxy included patterns for these war machines, though whether they were designed for conquest or defense remains unclear. Some tech priests whisper that Titans were humanity's answer to the monstrous Xenos threats encountered during the expansion into the stars. Others claim they were built to fight in wars between human stellar empires, conflicts of such magnitude that entire star systems were rendered lifeless. What cannot be disputed is the sophistication of their design. Titans incorporate technologies that even the Adeptus Mechanicus, with all its accumulated knowledge, cannot fully replicate. Their void shield generators, plasma reactors, and neural interface systems represent the pinnacle of Dark Age engineering, so advanced that they seem almost magical to those who do not understand the sacred mysteries of the machine. Unlike lesser machines, Titans possess what the Adeptus Mechanicus call a true machine spirit. This is not just complex programming or artificial intelligence. A Titan's machine spirit is something far more profound and some would say genuinely alive. Each Titan accumulates experiences across millennia of warfare. Every battle, every crew, every moment of triumph or defeat becomes part of its psyche. These machine spirits develop personalities, preferences, even hatreds. Some are noble and proud, eager for honorable combat. Others are wrathful and vengeful, remembering ancient grudges against particular enemies. A few are cold and calculating, viewing war as a series of tactical problems to be solved. The bond between a Titan and its princeps, the commander who interfaces directly with the machine spirit, is sacred and dangerous. Through the manifold and neural connection system, the princeps mind merges with the Titan. They become one being, sharing thoughts, emotions, and sensations. The princeps feels the Titan's weapons as extensions of their own body. They experience the glory of the Titan's power and the rage of its machine spirit. But this union comes at a terrible cost. The longer a princeps remains bonded to a Titan, the more their personality erodes. The machine spirit's ancient consciousness slowly overwrites the human mind. Veterans who have served for decades often struggle to separate their own thoughts from their Titan impulses. Many lose themselves entirely, becoming little more than extensions of the god machine they serve. When a princeps dies while connected to the manifold, their consciousness does not simply fade away. It merges with the Titan's machine spirit, becoming part of its accumulated experience. Some Titans carry the echoes of dozens of dead princeps within their systems, a choir of ghostly voices that guide and torment their current commander. Titan legions operate according to ancient organizational structures, each pattern of Titan serving a specific role in the devastating ballet of void-shielded warfare. Warhound Scout Titans. The smallest class of true Titan, the Warhound stands approximately 17 meters tall and is among the lightest of the god machines. Do not let the term Scout mislead you. A Warhound-class Titan carries more firepower than an entire company of main battle tanks. Warhounds are built for speed and maneuverability. Their relatively lightweight construction allows them to achieve remarkable velocity for machines of their size, and their twin void shield generators, while less powerful than their larger cousins, still render most conventional weapons useless. They typically operate in pairs called hunting packs, working together to flank enemy formations and eliminate high-value targets. Common armaments include plasma blast guns capable of melting through fortress walls, turbo laser destructors that can punch through the armor of super heavy tanks, and Vulcan megabolters that fire explosive shells the size of a man's torso. A hunting pack of warhounds can systematically dismantle enemy positions before larger titans arrive to complete the annihilation. Reaver Battle Titans. At 25 meters tall, the Reaver class represents the backbone of most Titan legions. These are the workhorses of planetary conquest, combining devastating firepower and relative mobility. Protected by 4 void shield generators and thick, well-sloped adamantium armor, the Reaver can withstand punishment that would obliterate lesser war machines. A Reaver mounts weapons in 3 hardpoints, 2 arms and a carapace mounting. This flexibility allows princeps to configure their Titan for various battlefield roles. Some favor dual Gatling blasters for infantry suppression and light vehicle destruction. Others mount Apocalypse missile launchers capable of saturating entire grid squares with warheads. The most aggressive princeps equip power fists, massive hydraulic claws that can tear apart enemy Titans in close combat. The carapace typically mounts anti-aircraft weaponry or additional long-range firepower. Vulcan megabolters provide defense against the aircraft and light vehicles, while turbo laser destructors extend the Reaver's effective range. Some legions favor the terrifying Vortex missile, a weapon that tears holes in reality itself, consuming everything within its blast radius. Reavers often operate as the central element of a Titan formation, supported by warhounds for reconnaissance and screening while providing fire support for larger Titans. Their balanced profile makes them suitable for almost any combat situation, from urban warfare to open field engagements. Warlord Battle Titans. Standing 33 meters tall and massing thousands of tons, the Warlord class is the most common heavy Titan pattern. When a Warlord takes the field, the very landscape is reshaped by its presence. The Warlord's 4 weapon mounts, 2 arm weapons and 2 carapace weapons allow for devastating combined firepower. Standard configurations include paired Gatling blasters or Vulcan megabolters on the arms, supplemented by Apocalypse missile launchers or plasma destructors on the carapace. The combined firepower can level entire city blocks in seconds. But raw firepower is only part of what makes a Warlord terrifying. Their void shields are powerful enough to withstand sustained bombardment from artillery batteries and orbital strikes. Their armor plating, meters thick in places, can shrug off hits that would vaporize lesser war engines. And their reactor cores generate enough power to maintain all these systems while still achieving impressive speed for something of their mass. Warlords serve as anchor points for Titan formations. They advance steadily, their shields and armor absorbing enemy fire while their weapons systematically eliminate threats. Infantry and light vehicles cower in their shadow, knowing that the Warlord's point defense systems will annihilate anything that attempts to close with the God Machine. Warmaster Heavy Battle Titans. Standing at approximately 41 meters tall, the Warmaster class occupies the critical space between Battle Titans and the mighty Emperor class. These heavy Battle Titans represent a significant escalation in destructive capability, mounting firepower that exceeds even the formidable Warlord while maintaining greater battlefield mobility than the ponderous Emperor class engines. Warmasters were deployed during the Great Crusade and the Horus Heresy, serving as command platforms and heavy assault units for Titan legions. Their combination of devastating weaponry and relatively nimble stride make them ideal for spearheading assaults against heavily fortified positions. Where a Warlord might falter and an Emperor might be too slow to deploy, the Warmaster could be relied upon to break through enemy lines. The weapon system mounted on a Warmaster class are formidable even by Titan standards. Multiple batteries of heavy weapons provide overlapping fields of fire, while their primary armaments can include weapons typically reserved for Emperor-class engines. The combination of firepower and armor protection makes Warmasters among the most dangerous war machines to face on any battlefield. Today, Warmasters remain extremely rare, with most Titan legions fortunate to field even one. Their presence on a battlefield signals the Mechanicus' commitment to total victory, for the deployment of such a precious asset is never undertaken lightly. Emperor-class Titans. The Emperor class represents the absolute pinnacle of Titan construction. These god machines tower over the battlefield, some standing well over 55 meters tall, weighing thousands upon thousands of tons. They are so rare and precious that entire forge worlds go centuries without producing a single one. Each is a priceless relic, an irreplaceable artifact of the Imperium's engineering prowess. The Emperor class encompasses several variants, each designed for specific roles. The Imperator serves as a general assault platform, bristling with weapons and carrying entire companies of troops within its hull. The Warmonger variant sacrifices some versatility for enhanced fire control systems, transforming it into a dedicated long-range fire support engine. The rare Nemesis class, used by select legions, incorporates unique weapons, configurations, and strategic capabilities. The weapon systems mounted on an Emperor-class Titan beggar description. Hellstorm cannons fire shells the size of shipping containers. Plasma annihilators burn with the fury of captured stars. Apocalypse missile batteries carry enough warheads to level hive cities. Quake cannons detonate with such force that they trigger seismic events measurable hundreds of kilometers away. And these are merely the primary armaments. Point defense systems, secondary batteries, and support weapons bristle from every surface. But an Emperor class is more than just a weapons platform. The interior spaces are vast enough to garrison entire companies of troops. Barracks, armories, command centers, even small manufactorums exist within the Titan's hull. An Emperor can operate independently for months, carrying supplies, ammunition, and support personnel sufficient for extended campaigns. The command crew of an Emperor class numbers in the hundreds. Beyond the Princeps and Motorati, who directly interface with the machine spirit, there are gunnery officers, shield operators, reactor technicians, and support staff. The Princeps of an Emperor is typically a veteran of centuries, their minds so merged with the Titan that they barely qualify as human anymore. When an Emperor class deploys, it does not simply participate in battles, it defines them. Enemy commanders structure entire battle plans around neutralizing or avoiding these god machines. Entire armies deploy with the sole purpose of supporting or destroying a single Emperor. Their arrival on a battlefield often determines the outcome before the first shot is fired. The cathedral-like superstructures built atop Emperor-class Titans are not merely decorative. These are genuine temples to the machine god, staffed by tech priests who maintain the sacred rituals necessary to keep the god machine's machine spirit content. Some emperors have carried their temples for so long that they house relics dating back to the Great Crusade, artifacts of such significance that pilgrims travel across the galaxy merely to glimpse them. The men within the machine. Operating a Titan requires more than technical skill or tactical acumen. It demands a spiritual connection, a willingness to sacrifice one's humanity to merge with something greater and more terrible. The Princeps commands the Titan, serving as the primary interface between machine and crew. Through the manifold connection, they experience the Titan's sensors as their own senses, its weapons as extensions of their body. They feel the impact of enemy fire against the void shields. They sense the reactor's power surging through weapon systems. They know the machine spirit's moods and desires as intimately as their own. Becoming a Princeps requires decades of training and conditioning. Candidates must demonstrate exceptional neural compatibility with Titan systems, a rare trait that appears in perhaps 1 in 10 million. They undergo extensive augmentation, receiving neural implants and cognitive enhancements that allow them to process the overwhelming data flow from the manifold connection. But even with all this preparation, connecting to a Titan is traumatic. First-time Princeps often experience complete ego dissolution, their personality temporarily obliterated by the machine spirit's overwhelming presence. Those who survive learn to maintain their identity while merged with the Titan, walking a psychological tightrope between human consciousness and machine awareness. Long-service Princeps pay a terrible price for their power. The constant neural strain causes physical deterioration. Many develop seizures, migraines, and neural degeneration. Psychological effects are even worse. Veteran Princeps struggle to relate to baseline humans. Their sense of scale becomes distorted by years of experiencing the world from a Titan's perspective. Some develop god complexes, convinced of their own divinity. Others lose the ability to experience emotions except through the Titan's machine spirit. The oldest Princeps are more machine than human, their bodies maintained by augmetics, their minds barely tethered to baseline reality. They exist in a twilight state between life and something else. Many request permanent integration with their Titan, their consciousness uploaded fully into the machine spirit after their body fails. Supporting the Princeps are the Moderati, subordinate crew members who manage specific Titan systems. The Moderati Primus typically controls weapon systems, while other Moderati manage shields, sensors, and movement. Like the Princeps, they connect to the Titan through neural interfaces, though their connection is less complete. Moderati positions serve as training for future Princeps. Young officers learn to interface with Titan systems, developing the neural plasticity and mental discipline required for full manifold connection. Many spend decades as Moderati, waiting for the opportunity to command their own engine. The relationship between Princeps and Moderati is complex. They share a neural connection through the manifold, creating a gestalt consciousness during battle. Experienced crews develop an almost telepathic coordination, anticipating each other's actions and thoughts. The Moderati feels the echoes of the Princeps' connection to the machine spirit, experiencing secondhand the overwhelming power and ancient rage of the god machine. Beyond the command crew, every Titan requires dozens or hundreds of support personnel. Tech priests of the Adeptus Mechanicus maintain the sacred systems, performing the rituals and maintenance procedures that keep the god machine operational. Servitors, lobotomized cyborgs, handle routine tasks and dangerous repairs. Junior engine seers monitor reactor output and weapon systems. Lex mechanics interpret data streams and maintain communication networks. For larger Titans, the support crew constitutes a full army. Emperor-class engines house entire communities within their hulls. These people live their entire lives aboard the Titan, born in its barracks, trained in its training halls, dying in service to the god machine. Families pass down their positions through generations, creating dynasties of reactor technicians or gunnery specialists. These crews develop intense loyalty to their Titan. They paint devotional murals on internal bulkheads. They conduct services in makeshift shrines. They give their Titan personal names, distinct from its official designation. To them, the Titan is not just a weapon, but a living deity, worthy of reverence and sacrifice. Titans do not operate independently. They're organized into legions, formidable military formations bound to specific forge worlds. Each legion has its own culture, traditions, and combat doctrine, developed over millennia of warfare. Among the most infamous legions is Legio Mortis, the Death's Heads, bound to Mars itself. During the Great Crusade, they earned glory fighting alongside the Emperor's armies, but when the Horus Heresy erupted, Legio Mortis declared for the Warmaster, turning their guns on former allies. The betrayal of Legio Mortis devastated Loyalist forces. Their Titans, painted in black and bone white, became symbols of treachery. At the Siege of Terra, Death's Head's engines stalked through the ruins of the Imperial Palace, their guns bringing down walls that had stood for millennia. When the heresy ended, the survivors fled into the Eye of Terror, where they continued to serve the Dark Mechanicum. Chaos has transformed the Death's Heads. Their Titan machine spirits have been corrupted by the warp, twisted into demon engines that hunger for destruction. Their crew no longer maintains the boundary between human and machine. They embrace the fusion, becoming grotesque cybernetic horrors permanently bonded to their Titans. In contrast to the fallen Mortis, Legio Ignatum remains steadfastly loyal. Based on Mars, the Fire Wasp are among the oldest and most prestigious legions. Their engines bear yellow and black heraldry, a warning to enemies of the firestorm to come. Ignatum specializes in aggressive shock tactics. Their Princeps favor plasma weapons and close-range loadouts, closing with the enemy to unleash devastating firepower at point-blank range. This doctrine has earned them tremendous glory and equally tremendous casualties. Ignatum Titans are often the first into battle and last to withdraw, their crews refusing to yield ground regardless of the cost. The Legion maintains ancient traditions dating back to the Great Crusade. Every Princeps must undergo ritual trials, proving their worth before taking command. The greatest heroes are interred within their Titans after death, their skulls mounted in places of honor. Some engines carry the remains of dozens of former commanders, the bones of heroes watching over their successors. Legio Griffonicus, the War Griffins, exemplifies the defensive doctrine favored by many Titan legions. Based on the Forge World Griffon 4 before its consumption by High Fleet Leviathan, the War Griffins specialized in static defense and systematic fire. War Griffin Titans advanced methodically, their void shields overlapping to create zones of near invulnerability. They favor long-range weapons, standing off and systematically destroying enemy formations before closing for final annihilation. This measured approach contrasts sharply with the aggressive tactics of legions like Ignatum, but its effectiveness cannot be disputed. The loss of Griffon 4 to the Tyranids devastated the Legion. Scattered remnants now operate from various Forge worlds, their numbers drastically reduced, but the survivors fight with redoubled fury. Each battle a memorial to their fallen homeworld and lost battle brothers. The logistics of the gods. Deploying Titans represents one of the most complex military operations in the Imperium. These are not weapons that can be rapidly moved or casually committed to battle. Each deployment requires months of preparation and logistical coordination. Transport alone presents enormous challenges. Warhounds might fit aboard heavy dropships, but larger classes require specialized transport vessels. Some Forge worlds maintain dedicated Titan carriers, massive ships designed solely to deliver god machines to combat zones. Emperor-class Titans cannot be transported by any conventional means. They deploy via colossal landing craft, or in extreme cases, void walk through space on external grapples attached to capital ships. Once planetside, Titans require extensive support infrastructure. Reactor fuel must be constantly supplied. Ammunition expenditure is measured in tons per minute during sustained combat. Repair facilities must be established to maintain void shields and armor plating. Tech priests conduct endless rituals to appease machine spirits disturbed by combat and transport. The supply chain supporting a Titan Legion staggers the imagination. Thousands of support personnel, hundreds of vehicles, entire manufactorums worth of spare parts and ammunition, all must be coordinated and protected. A single Titan Legion deployment can strain the resources of an entire sector. When Titans meet on the battlefield, the result is called an engine war, a contest that reshapes landscapes and determines the fate of worlds. The opening salvos occur at maximum range, often kilometers apart. Turbo lasers lance across the battlefield, testing enemy void shields. Plasma weapons fire arcs of superheated matter. Missiles streak through the air in swarms. The very atmosphere ignites from the energy discharged. Void shields absorb the initial impacts, flaring with distinctive color as they dissipate incoming energy. But sustained fire eventually overwhelms even the strongest shields. Each successful hit brings the shield network closer to collapse. When shields fall, armor becomes the last defense. Meters thick plating that can withstand tremendous punishment but ultimately yields to focused fire. As the range closes, combat intensifies. Warhounds dart forward using their speed to flank heavier engines. Reavers advance in mutual support, covering each other's approaches. Warlords stride through the carnage, their shields and armor allowing them to weather storms of fire that would annihilate lesser machines. Warmasters and Emperors dominate the center, their guns speaking with the voice of gods. The destruction is absolute. Each Titan that falls leaves a crater. Reactor breaches create mushroom clouds visible from orbit. Void shield collapses release energy equivalent to tactical nuclear devices. Buildings within kilometers are reduced to rubble by shockwaves and radiation. The landscape itself burns. But the true horror of engine war is personal. Inside the Titans, crews experience every hit, every shield failure, every system malfunction. Through the manifold, they feel their Titan's pain as their own. When armor breaches and compartments depressurize, they sense their Titan dying. When the reactor destabilizes, they know death approaches. Many crews stay connected even as their Titan falls, unable or unwilling to disconnect from the manifold. They ride the god machine down, their consciousness merging with the machine spirit in final union. Their last thoughts become part of the Titan's accumulated memory, screaming into the void as metal gods die. Titans are, in theory, immortal. Even catastrophic damage can be repaired given sufficient time and resources. Destroyed Titans are recovered whenever possible. The remains returned to Forge worlds for restoration. The process can take centuries. Tech priests treat Titan reconstruction as sacred duty. They painstakingly rebuild systems, fabricate replacement components, reconsecrate damaged machine spirits. Some Titans have been destroyed and rebuilt multiple times across their service history, each resurrection adding to their accumulated experience and power. But this cycle cannot continue forever. Each reconstruction reduces the Titan's original components. Systems are replaced with newer, inferior parts. Knowledge is lost. Machine spirits become unstable, traumatized by deaths and rebirths. Eventually, even the most sacred Titan becomes irreparable, its essential nature degraded beyond recovery. The slow attrition haunts the Adeptus Mechanicus. Titan losses exceed production by a considerable margin. Every war claims god machines that cannot be replaced. The legions grow weaker with each passing century. Some projections suggest that within a few millennia all Titans will be lost, their secrets dying with them. This knowledge adds desperate intensity to Titan deployments. Every god machine is precious, irreplaceable, sacred. Their loss represents not just military defeat but cultural catastrophe, the erasure of millennia of history and tradition. And yet they must fight. The Imperium needs its god machines. Worlds must be conquered. Enemies must be destroyed. The Titans march to war, knowing each battle might be their last. In the 41st millennium, Titans represent both humanity's greatest achievement and its most profound tragedy. They're miracles of engineering that can never be replicated. Weapons of unimaginable power wielded by crews who sacrifice their humanity to serve. They're symbols of the Imperium's might and reminders of all that has been lost. When a Titan Legion deploys, reality itself seems to hold its breath. The ground trembles, the air screams, cities burn, mountains fall, and through it all, the god machines stride forward, ancient and terrible, carrying with them the ghosts of 10,000 years of warfare, the accumulated rage and glory of countless battles, the very essence of humanity's long war against extinction. They are the walking cathedrals of the machine god. They are the fists of Mars. They are the Titans, and they will walk the battlefield until the very stars grow cold.
Let the stars burn, let the void scream, the Titans walk, and the enemy shall know fear.
Princeps Signoris Maximus Veil, Legio Ignatum.